Order. Order in the Galactic Council. High Councillor Vexitara slammed his crystalline gavel, sending ripples through his bioluminescent tentacles. The emergency session regarding the human situation will now commence. The council chamber, normally a model of serenity with its floating platforms and shimmering holographic displays, erupted into chaos. Representatives from 27 species shouted over each other, their universal translators creating a cacophony of panic and indignation. "They've been lying to us!" Ambassador Trilexon of the Centauri Collective waved all four of his arms in exasperation. The security footage from the transgalactic marathon shows a human deliberately slowing down before the finish line. Vexitara's sensory nodes pulsed with stress as he pulled up the holographic evidence. The footage showed human athlete Jessica Blake approaching the finish line with a comfortable lead, then mysteriously developing a cramp just before victory. The second-place Thoraxian had won by mere microseconds, celebrating with all 8 legs, while Blake smiled way too convincingly for someone who'd just lost. "That's not all." Chief Inspector Kalin stepped forward, her crystalline exoskeleton reflecting the chamber's ambient light. "We've uncovered similar patterns in every competitive event humans have participated in over the last 30 solar cycles. They never win by more than 3% margin. The statistical probability of such consistent results is astronomical." Security Director Nax Trell, looking particularly green even for a verdant, activated his neural interface. "My team has compiled instances of humans showing unusual restraint. Watch this footage from the Asteroid Belt Construction Core." The hologram shifted to show a human construction worker catching a falling 2-ton beam with one hand while casually sipping coffee with the other. The worker had later filed a report, claiming the anti-grav units had partially malfunctioned, explaining his lucky save. "By the sacred void," whispered media correspondent Blipzorks, their antenna twitching nervously. "How much have they been holding back?" Admiral Yixatal, the usually stoic military leader of the Proxima Defense Force, rose from his hover chair. "Councillors, my intelligence suggests this deception extends beyond sports. Yesterday, a human child on vacation asked me why I was moving so slowly. When I informed her I was demonstrating our species' maximum speed, she said, and I quote, 'Oh, you're not pretending like the grown-ups. That's when you get to run for real.'" The chamber fell silent. Vexitara's colour shifted from his diplomatic azure to a concerned violet. Where is the human representative? They must answer for this deception. "Ambassador Rodriguez sends his regrets." Kalin's voice carried a note of sarcasm. "Apparently he's stuck in low-gravity traffic, though my sources spotted him doing acrobatic flips through maintenance tunnels to avoid this meeting." Vexitara felt his primary heart skip a beat. "Send an immediate summons to the Human Diplomatic Corps. And someone check the gravity generators. If they've been adjusting those to hide their capabilities too. I swear by the first star." The chamber erupted once again, but this time with nervous laughter. No one wanted to admit the terrifying thought crossing all their minds. What else had the humans been pretending to struggle with? "Live from Nova Station's Grand Arena, bringing you the 157th Intergalactic Championship." Blipzorks' voice crackled through billions of neural receivers. "Today's gravity-lifting finals promise to be spectacular." Security Director Nax Trell watched from the control room, surrounded by screens showing every angle of the arena. The betting pools heavily favoured Tzork, the Megalodian champion who dominated the sport for 3 cycles. Jessica Blake, the human competitor, was given courtesy odds at best. "Approaching maximum sustainable weight for non-augmented beings," announced the automated system. "Current load, 47.3 standard units." Tzork lifted the mass with 4 of his reinforced limbs, mandibles chittering with strain. The crowd roared. This was already approaching the galactic record. Then everything went wrong. It started with a small sound, a laugh. Blake, who should have been struggling, was chuckling. "Sorry, everyone, but I'm really tired of this charade. She turned to Tzork. "No offense, buddy, you're great at this. But I've got a wedding to attend in 3 hours, and this posturing is making me late. Contestant Blake, please wait for proper safety protocols." The system began. Blake walked to the gravity platform. Without engaging the safety fields, without activating her muscle supports, without even taking a proper stance. "What is she doing?" Nax Trell leaned forward, all three eyes widening. "Stop her! The weight will crush her bones!" But Blake didn't stop. She reached down, grabbed the weight bar and lifted it. With one hand. Then she switched hands, spinning the mass like a toy. "You know what's really funny?" she called out to the stunned audience. "We have to practice this. Hours and hours of learning how to look like we're struggling with these adorable weights." The sensor readings went crazy. Each movement should have torn her arms off, but Blake was putting on a show, juggling what amounted to a small shuttle's mass. In the VIP box, Admiral Yixatal dropped his ceremonial drink. "By the void, I knew it. Recall the report about their planet's gravity? We thought their scientists made a computational error. The arena descended into chaos. Several Vexillian delegates fainted, their color-changing skins stuck in a terrified white. A group of quantum monks began reciting end-time prophecies. Security footage archived, reported Kalin's AI assistant. Analyzing. Multiple violations of known physical limitations detected. Subject Blake is exceeding recommended mass strength ratios by error. Please recalibrate sensors. "The sensors are fine," Kellen snapped, her crystalline form vibrating with stress. "Show me historical footage. Compare to previous human competitions." The screens filled with past events. Humans losing arm wrestling matches to Jovian bears by millimeters. Humans just barely missing speed records in races. Humans needing mechanical assistance for basic construction work. "They've been choreographing their losses," Nax Trell whispered, "like some sort of galactic-scale performance art." Back in the arena, Blake had finished her impromptu demonstration by carefully setting down the weights. She stretched, several bones audibly popping. "Much better. Been wanting to do that for months. The constant slouching was killing my back." The medical team who'd rushed in expecting to treat a mangled human stood frozen. One of them fainted when Blake helped them up with her supposedly shattered arm. "This is media correspondent Blipsorks reporting." Their voice trembled. "We appear to be experiencing technical difficulties, though I should note that these difficulties include questioning everything we thought we knew about physics." In the security office, Kellen pulled up more footage. Humans in construction accidents, moving faster than emergency response bots. A human child absent-mindedly bending indestructible playground equipment. A human chef kneading metal-hard alien dough with their bare hands. "Director," a junior analyst called out, "you need to see this. We found their training videos." The screen showed a human instructor speaking to a class. "Remember, folks, when lifting in front of our galactic friends, count to 3, pretend to strain, and for heaven's sake, stop breaking the gravity simulators. Yes, I know they're too light. No, we can't tell them that. Now, let's practice looking exhausted." Nax Trell, Kalin, and the entire security team watched in horrified fascination. The next few days would be interesting. Very, very interesting. And somewhere on Nova Station, Jessica Blake was rushing to a wedding, hoping she hadn't caused too much of a diplomatic incident. But honestly, those weights had just been way too light to keep pretending. Chief Inspector Kalin's office buzzed with frantic activity as analysts poured through decades of surveillance footage. The evidence wasn't just shocking, it was embarrassingly obvious. "Play file 2187B, Kalin ordered, her crystalline form glowing with frustration. The holographic display showed a human construction worker, Barry Thompson, during the building of the Centauri Peace Bridge. A support beam had slipped, threatening to crush 3 Arxian architects. Thompson had caught it, redirected its fall, and then immediately pretended to pass out from what he claimed was adrenaline and luck. "Now cross-reference his medical records," Carlin demanded. "Sir, that's the interesting part." Her assistant, Zipvar, brought up another display. He was playing zero-G basketball 2 hours later. Security Director Nax Trell burst into the office, waving a data crystal. You won't believe what we found in their military archives. Playing it now. The footage showed a human military instructor addressing a class. Listen up, soldiers. When training with our alien allies, remember the protocols. No running at full speed. No lifting anything heavier than a Jovian elephant. And for the love of everything sacred, stop showing off by eating military-grade explosives as snacks. But, Sergeant, a recruit raised her hand, what if we get hungry during long exercises? That's what the pretend nutrient packs are for. We've spent good money designing snacks that look filling to our alien friends. Now, pair up and practice looking winded after a light jog. Kaelin's colour shifted to a deep blue of despair. There's more, much more. Zip-Paw, show them what we found in their educational system. A new hologram appeared. A classroom of human children, maybe 6 Earth years old. Their teacher was explaining important concepts. Remember, kids, when playing with your alien friends, we must be extra gentle. Yes, Tommy, I know their jungle gyms feel like they're made of paper. No, Sarah, you cannot demonstrate how to throw a spacecraft. It gets worse, Nax Trell added. We found their manual. The display changed to show a document titled Humanity's Guide to Playing Nice with Galactic Friends, Updated Edition 2374. Chapter 1. Basic Etiquette. Always pretend anti-grav units are necessary. Act impressed by basic automation. Never mention Earth's light gravity. Appear challenged by simple physical tasks. Chapter 7. Sports and Recreation. Maintain the 3% margin rule. Practice believable sports injuries. Keep victory celebrations appropriately modest. Remember, second place is less paperwork. There's an entire chapter on how to fake fatigue, Zip-Paw exclaimed, antenna twitching wildly, complete with breathing exercises and convincing sweat patterns. Kalen pulled up another recording, this one from a human diplomatic training session. Ambassador Rodriguez was teaching new recruits. Remember, when arm wrestling a Thoraxian champion, wait exactly 2.7 minutes before losing. And please stop accidentally crushing the ceremonial metals during award ceremonies. Yes, they're soft. No, we can't tell them that. Look at this section, Nax Trell pointed. Guidelines for emergency situations. If you must reveal true capabilities, minimize witnesses, arrange convenient power outages, and always have a ready explanation involving adrenaline or mechanical malfunctions. The room fell silent as they processed the implications. Humanity hadn't just been holding back. They'd turned it into an art form, complete with training manuals, practice sessions, and performance metrics. Well, Callan finally spoke, her crystalline form dimming with resignation. At least now we know why they always insisted on organizing the children's sports days. Zip-Paw pulled up one final clip, a human parent coaching their child. Remember, honey, when playing tag with your alien friends, count to 10 before catching them. And please stop using their spacecraft as climbing frames. The investigators shared a look. The galaxy would never be the same. The Galactic Embassy's Grand Hall buzzed with tension as Ambassador Marcus Rodriguez faced down Supreme Commander Zix of the Zarkax Empire. Diplomatic relations had been strained since the Nova Station incident, but no one expected things to escalate quite like this. You dare suggest humans are weak? Zix towered over Rodriguez, his armored exoskeleton gleaming under the crystalline lights. Look how your athlete exposed your species' true nature. You're all deceptive warriors hiding among us. Rodriguez maintained his practiced diplomatic smile, though a vein pulsed in his forehead. Supreme Commander, I assure you we've only ever wanted peaceful— Peaceful? Zix laughed, a sound like grinding metal. Your kind has infiltrated every sector of galactic society. Playing weak, playing stupid, making us feel superior, no more. He slammed a clawed appendage on the negotiation table, cracking its supposedly indestructible surface. The assembled diplomats gasped. Even the quantum monks stopped their eternal calculations to watch. "Supreme Commander." Rodriguez's voice remained calm, but something had changed in his stance. "I strongly suggest you reconsider your tone." "Or what, human?" Zix leaned closer, mandibles clicking. "Your species is exposed. We've seen your true strength. The Zarkax Empire demands control of all human territories as compensation for this deception. Refuse, and we'll demonstrate why we're the galaxy's supreme military force." Rodriguez closed his eyes and took a deep breath. When he opened them, several aliens instinctively backed away. Gone was the perpetually smiling diplomat. This was something else entirely. "You know what? Fine. Fine." Rodriguez threw his hands up. "I've spent 15 years slouching in these chairs designed for beings twice my size. Do you know how bad that is for my back? And these ceremonial robes, they weigh as much as a small car, but we wear them to make everyone else feel better." To demonstrate, he grabbed his ornamental robe, designed to require anti-grav assistance, and ripped it off like tissue paper. Several Vexillian delegates fainted. "Oh, and these?" He pointed to his ceremonial bands, supposedly unbreakable symbols of office. With a casual flex, they shattered. "I've broken 17 sets trying to scratch an itch gently." Zix took a step back, his bravado wavering. This is exactly why." No, you wanted this." Rodriguez walked forward, each step leaving small cracks in the marble floor. "Let me tell you what's actually going to happen. There will be no war. Do you know why?" The human reached out and with one finger poked the negotiation table. It didn't just break, it powdered. "Because we're not pretending anymore. Those cargo ships you're so proud of, we let our children play with bigger toys. Those battle cruisers, we've been helping you maintain them because we think they're cute. And that fearsome army of yours, half of them are trained by retired human yoga instructors." Security forces rushed in, plasma weapons ready. Rodriguez glanced at them, sighed, and moved. To most species present, he seemed to teleport. One second he was at the table, the next he held all 12 weapons, neatly stacked. "We tried to be nice," he continued, absent-mindedly bending the weapons into a sculpture. "We joined your sports leagues and deliberately lost. We acted impressed by your technology. Hell, we still have weekly classes on how to pretend your doors are heavy." But why?" someone squeaked from the diplomatic corps. "Because we liked you, all of you. We wanted to be part of the galactic community without making everyone feel insecure. Do you know how hard it is to constantly monitor your strength? I have to practice breathing softly so I don't accidentally blow away important documents." To demonstrate, he exhaled sharply. The breeze knocked over 3 Zarkax honor guards. "Ambassador," High Counselor Vexitara's voice shook slightly, "perhaps we should—" "Oh no, the Supreme Commander wanted honesty." Rodriguez grinned. "Hey, watch this." He jumped, lightly by human standards. His head went through the ceiling, showering everyone with debris. "Oops, sorry about that. Old habits. Usually I pretend the artificial gravity affects me more." The room had gone deathly quiet. Rodriguez brushed ceiling fragments from his shoulders and straightened his tie. "Now then," he smiled at Zix, who looked considerably less supreme. "Shall we restart these negotiations? And this time, maybe we can all stop pretending." From somewhere in the back, Chief Inspector Kalen's voice carried clearly, "Someone check if this is going into the guide to playing nice under what not to do, perhaps." A nervous laugh rippled through the chamber. The galaxy's political landscape had just shifted dramatically, and not even the quantum monk's predictions could tell what would happen next. But one thing was certain: diplomatic furniture bills were about to increase significantly. Breaking news across all quantum channels. Media correspondent Blipsork's antennae quivered as they broadcast. "Following the diplomatic incident at the Galactic Embassy, we're receiving reports of humans everywhere simply stopping their act." The news feeds were chaos. Every station from the Centauri Entertainment Network to the Proxima Truth broadcasts showed the same thing. Humans being, well, human. This just in from Mars colony, a Thoraxian news anchor chittered nervously. A human grandmother, Martha Chen, aged 73 Earth years, caught a runaway cargo hauler with one hand while finishing her cup of tea. When asked about it, she simply said, and I quote, "Oh, thank goodness these cups are actually quite heavy to keep pretending with." Security footage flooded the networks. A construction worker on Europa casually lifting a fallen support beam, then realizing he was on camera and half-heartedly saying, "Oops." A human child in a zero-G playground explaining to her alien friends why she could swim through space without propulsion. "The air's just like thick soup, see?" "We go live to the Arcturus Sports Complex," Blipsorks announced, "where the human team has—" "Oh my, they're playing zero-gravity baseball without safety equipment. They're using their bodies to redirect momentum and—" "Is that human pitching faster than our sensor arrays can track?" The Zarkax military channel ran continuous coverage of archived footage, each clip more terrifying than the last. Human peacekeepers accidentally stopping plasma rounds with their bare hands. A human marine getting up after a direct hit, brushing off his uniform and apologizing for ruining the weapon's confidence. "This footage comes from a routine maintenance check," a Verdant analyst explained, voice trembling. "The human engineer forgot to pretend the radiation shielding was necessary. She's basically having lunch in a radiation zone that would dissolve most species." Social media exploded with personal accounts. A Vexillian chef posted about their human apprentice finally admitting why they never used cooking tools. The metal was too soft to be helpful. A quantum monk shared security footage of a human professor absent-mindedly chewing on a piece of tungsten during lectures. "Like a stress toy," the professor had explained. The Galactic Education Board went into emergency session after realizing all human students had been deliberately scoring average marks. "They were choosing wrong answers," a shell-shocked administrator reported. "Carefully calculating exactly how many questions to miss. We found their practice tests. Perfect scores, every time." "We're receiving confirmation," Blipsource continued, "that the human celebration dance known as the moonwalk was actually a training exercise in pretending to be affected by low gravity. Speaking of which, this just in from Lunar Base." The footage showed humans bouncing around the lunar surface, no suits needed, playing some sort of game involving throwing small moons they'd apparently made from compressed lunar dust. The Proxima Defense Force released an official statement. "In light of recent revelations, all military drills with human forces are suspended. We've received concerning reports that they've been letting our side win for morale purposes. Emergency calls flooded hospitals as various species experience panic attacks. The Thoraxian stock exchange crashed after realizing humans had been manually adjusting their trading speed to match market algorithms." "This just in from the Galactic Sports Federation," a Centauri announcer warbled. "All records are under review. We have confirmation that humans have been orchestrating dramatic finishes for entertainment value. The famous 3-moon marathon? The human runner stopped for snacks several times." The Galactic Transportation Authority issued a grave report. "Humans have been pretending our fastest ships are impressive. We found their personal vessels. They use them as recreational vehicles." Blipsork's final broadcast of the cycle summed up the general mood. This reporter has just learned that the human phrase "taking it easy" was not, in fact, a relaxation technique, but rather an operating manual for interaction with other species. "In related news, I'm taking a vacation, a long one, far from human space." As panic spread, humans everywhere seemed almost relieved. No more pretending doors were heavy, no more carefully calculating sports losses, no more hiding their snacks of indestructible materials. The galaxy would need therapy, lots and lots of therapy. "Welcome to the first ever unrestrained human Olympics," announced Blipsorks, now broadcasting from behind 3 layers of protective shielding. After weeks of galactic panic, humans have decided to demonstrate their actual capabilities. May whatever deities you believe in have mercy on our sensory organs. The new Terra Stadium was packed with terrified but fascinated spectators. The quantum monks had calculated a 98.3% chance of widespread existential crises following the event. They were optimistic. "First up, the strength demonstration," Blipsorks narrated as Jessica Blake returned to the stage. "Notice the complete lack of safety. Oh, sweet void." Blake was juggling shuttlecraft. Actual shuttlecraft. "These are surprisingly well balanced," she commented, casually tossing a 20-ton vehicle with one hand, "though the anti-grav systems tickle a bit." The Thoraxian delegation, renowned for their strength, collectively submitted retirement paperwork. "Moving on to the speed trials," Blipsorks continued, their voice several octaves higher. "Human sprinter Tom Martinez will— Where did he go?" "Over here." Martinez waved from the finish line. "Sorry, did you want to see that in slow motion?" The replay, slowed down to 1/1,000,000th speed, showed Martinez casually dodging air molecules as he ran. Several physics professors in the audience began crying. Next up, the endurance showcase featuring Sarah Chen from the Mars colony. Chen smiled at the cameras. "I'll be demonstrating how we normally exercise." She proceeded to throw punches faster than the speed of sound, each impact creating small sonic booms, while reciting the entire history of human space exploration. "This is usually our warm-up," she added. The Martial Arts Federation representatives were seen quietly burning their training manuals. "For our next demonstration," Blipsorks checked their notes, "human children will show their typical playground activities." A group of young humans proceeded to play hopscotch across the stadium's ceiling, using gravity as more of a suggestion than a law. Their parents watched proudly, occasionally reminding them not to accidentally cause temporal distortions with their skipping speed. The Education Board immediately revised their physical education guidelines to include a new category: absolutely not possible. "And now," Blipsorks' voice cracked, "the temperature resistance demonstration." Ambassador Rodriguez stepped into a chamber designed to simulate the surface of a sun. "Bit warm in here," he commented, pulling out a frozen treat, "but perfect for ice cream." The Thermal Regulatory Committee collectively fainted. "For our final demonstration," Blipsorks was nearly hysterical now, "the humans will show their actual cognitive capabilities." A human mathematician solved a 1,000-year-old quantum theorem while playing chess against 50 supercomputers, with her eyes closed. "Sorry," she said, "would you like me to slow down my thinking speed? I know it can be hard to follow." In the stands, a young Vexillian turned to their parent. Is this why human ghost stories always involved them hiding their power? Before anyone could respond, the human children had started a new game, using small planetary bodies as marbles. "Don't worry," they assured the horrified audience, "we're being gentle with them." The event concluded with a casual demonstration of human construction abilities. A team of 3 humans built a space station in an afternoon, using their bare hands to shape the metal. "This concludes our demonstration," Rodriguez announced to the stunned audience. "We hope this helps explain why we had to pretend. Also, we're really sorry about all the broken records, bent medals, and that time we accidentally arm-wrestled a moon out of orbit." As the spectators filed out, many seeking immediate psychological counseling, Blipsorks made their final announcement. "This has been the Human Revelation Games. I need a drink, several drinks, and maybe a new career away from human news coverage." In the parking lot, a human child was heard asking, "Mum, can we stop pretending the air is thick enough to walk on now?" The galaxy would never be the same. But at least the humans could finally stop practicing their fake, tired expressions. 3 months after the Human Revelation Games, the galaxy had achieved a new normal, sort of. "Breaking news," Blipsorks announced from their now standard bunker studio. "The Galactic Council has officially ratified the Human Truth Treaties, Key points include humans promising to catch falling buildings, limitations on using black holes as sports equipment, and mandatory warning labels reading, "Warning, humans may be stronger than they appear." The changes were everywhere. The Zarkak's empire had revised their diplomatic protocols to include the phrase, "Please don't juggle our battleships," in 17 languages. Construction companies now advertised human-proof materials, though humans kept accidentally disproving their claims. Insurance companies had created an entirely new category, acts of human. In education news, Blipsorks continued, mixed species schools have adapted their curriculum. Physical education now includes separate tracks for humans and non-humans. After the incident with the accidental orbital adjustment during human dodgeball, this seems wise. The sports world had evolved too. Humans now competed in their own leagues where they could finally use their full abilities. The viewing numbers were astronomical, even if most species watched through their fingers in horror. And in entertainment, Blipsorks shuffled their notes. The hit reality show So You Think You Can Outrun a Human has been cancelled after 0 contestants made it past the starting line. Even the quantum monks had adapted, adding a new variable to their calculations. The human factor, defined as whatever physics-breaking nonsense they do next. The Galactic Military Academy updated its threat assessment protocols. Level 1, minor conflict. Level 2, major engagement. Level 3, severe crisis. Level 4, human feeling slightly annoyed. But the real shock came during what should have been a routine human cultural exchange event. "Is it recording?" Ambassador Rodriguez whispered to a junior diplomat. "It is? Oh, good. Look, everyone, we need to confess something else." The galaxy collectively held its breath. "Remember how we showed you our real capabilities?" Rodriguez smiled nervously. "Well, funny story. Those were just our public abilities, the ones we're comfortable demonstrating." The silence was deafening. "You see," he continued, scratching his head, "we didn't want to cause any more panic, so we're still holding back a bit. Just a tiny bit. Like, you know how we can juggle planets? That's just for fun. The real stuff is, well..." The feed cut off mysteriously. When it returned, Rodriguez was gone, leaving only a note. "Some things the galaxy isn't ready for. See you at the next sports game. P.S. Sorry about the laws of physics. We'll put them back when we're done." Blipsorks stared at their prompter, antennae twitching. "This has been your galactic news update. I quit. Again." As the broadcast ended, a human child was overheard asking their parent, "Can I show them the fun tricks now?" The answer, mercifully, was lost to the sounds of several species fainting simultaneously. The galaxy had achieved peace, if only because everyone was too terrified to start anything. And somewhere, humans were still practicing how to pretend to be normal. They weren't very good at it.